feel anymore. I've seen this evidence on the DVDs, read several books, listened to lectures, and I just can't sit quiet about it anymore.
Despite the risk of being labeled a kook or a conspiracy theorist, Brian Burchell has become an outspoken member of a group called Victoria 9/11 Truth.
Well, we need to know the truth, to know whether or not we're justified to be putting our effort and lives in Afghanistan.
Victoria 9/11 Truth has petitioned the federal government to pressure the U.S. to reopen the 9/11 investigation. Nearly 50 signatures are on the petition.
I admire the activism and the energy, but I think it's being misplaced.
Dr. Jason Colby, an assistant professor at the University of Victoria, specializes in the history of U.S. foreign relations. He doesn't believe there's much hope of reopening the investigation.
I don't see a Harper government or even a Liberal government responding to this pressure. I can't imagine a U.S. government responding by reopening that investigation. It's a very touchy subject.
You can't help it. Your mind starts to spin ideas about what the truth is. And I would caution people to not do that.
The petition includes a list of what Victoria 9/11 Truth calls glaring omissions in the official 9/11 Commission report. One example, that the Twin Towers exemplified at least 10 features suggestive of a controlled demolition. Another example,
there's never been, before that or since, a steel-framed building that has collapsed due to fire.
Jumbo jets full of jet fuel have never crashed into skyscrapers before. We don't really know exactly. I mean, I'm not a structural engineer, but we don't know exactly what would have or could have or should have happened when that kind of event takes place.
Victoria 9/11 Truth claims endorsements from 9/11 Truth groups in other Canadian cities, including Nanaimo.
The evidence is suggesting the true story is different. Let's find out what the true story is through proper channels of investigation, rather than sitting here and theorizing.
The problem with the 9/11 Commission is that it was very much like the Warren Commission with the JFK assassination. It's a hurried and imperfect process to sort of put an event behind everyone and to ease, comfort the public that there is an explanation for this.
The Bush administration, according to the petition, used 9/11 to gain control over oil and gas reserves in the Middle East and Central Asia.
What, in our experience with George W. Bush and the Bush administration, convinces us that they are capable of this kind of cunning incompetence? I mean, what has convinced us? I mean, certainly not examples like Hurricane Katrina. We can accuse them of a lot of things, but I think the biggest one is gross incompetence.